Why do some people react to a certain diet and others don't? Have you ever had that in your life where you were trying a particular thing or somebody told you you should try that and it didn't work for you? Well, if you had, you might want to stick around, because today I'm talking about why nutrition is individual for every human being. Hello everyone, my name is Doris Victoria. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I am your soul empowerment and conscious millionaire coach, and together we are rising and growing and remembering to who we truly are and shining our light fully here on planet Earth. So I really wanted to share this because I have had experiences in my life, and as many of you, maybe you have, maybe you didn't, but I went through the jungle of nutrition. What is good for you? What is not good for you, you know? And then this one comes up with, oh, you should only eat carbohydrates. And then the other one is like, oh, you should only eat proteins. And then there's another one, oh, you should always, you know, separate carbohydrates from proteins because together they are not going well. And then there are the others that say you should only eat vegetarian, you should only eat vegan, you know, whatever it is. But there's so many, there's such a big confusion out in this world about nutrition. And I want to share something with you that I have learned along my path thanks to my beloved spiritual teachers. And I have found out something for myself that is true. And that's what I want to share with you today. So listen carefully if you are lost in the jungle of nutrition, or nutrition naysayers or yes-sayers or whatever it is. Whatever you are digesting the best. Okay, no, so let me start from this point. All of us have an Akashic Record. The Akashic Record is kind of like a spiritual library where all our lifetimes, everything we ever have been, everything we ever thought, all experiences we have ever been through is stored. And depending on our past lifetimes, our body in this lifetime still has a certain chemistry, so to speak. So for example, I have been very connected to Ayurveda. Ayurveda talks about the 3 types, and that for me made more sense because it was more individual. If you know your type, then you know what you can eat. And somebody told me once, you should only eat raw. You should only eat raw and vegan. So I tried that for a while and it didn't feel comfortable to me. And my nails started to be brittle and I lost hair and whatever, you know, it didn't feel comfortable and I was cold all the time. So another thing, somebody else was like, oh no, you are more vata, which is the air in Ayurveda. You might want to check out the doshas, the Ayurvedic doshas, to know your type. There's Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. Pitta is fire, so to speak, shortly spoken. Kapha, I think, is earth, and Vata is air. And so I think I have been a mixture. But anyway, so I went through the jungle of the Ayurvedic nutrition, coming a little closer until I found my own kind of like chemistry and finding out what foods really work for me. And I do eat meat randomly, you know, not many times, but once a month or once every 2 months, I do eat meat or fish because I can feel that my body needs it. And I can feel that, yeah, there's something about it that makes me feel grounded, that makes me feel more connected, that makes me feel good, you know. So as we are becoming more aware, hopefully the judgments are at one point going away, because I think out in this world there is way too much judgment towards those who do eat meat or towards those who don't eat meat, or, you know, and I agree with the way animals are treated. Animals are definitely not treated in a kind way. So this is why when I eat meat, I make sure that this is an animal that has been organically grass-fed, that was out in the wild, you know. Actually, this is what resonates the most with me, wild meat. So animals that have been growing on their own, and they were just out in nature all the time. They were nourishing themselves the way they felt it would be good for them. They weren't fed by human beings. So this is actually the meat that I digest the best. And when I went back to look into my Akashic record, well, you might not be surprised, but many of my lifetimes were as a shaman or a Native American. And this is why I believe I feel so deeply connected to North America. This is kind of like my land. This is my home, and I'm there. I feel like I'm becoming alive again. And this lifetime I was born in Germany, but I left my home country when I was 19 because I never felt belonged there. And then I went out on that spiritual path, kind of like looking for my roots. So you might have had many, many lifetimes, and hence the chemistry of your body is still in a way designed that you digest vegetables, for example, the most. You know, if you have been many lifetimes in Tibet, for example, as a monk, or you've had lifetimes in, I also remember my lifetimes in Lemuria, you know, where we had mostly vegetable soups. We also ate meat, but it was mostly soups. And soups are also something that I digest perfectly well. Fats, sugar, not good for me. You might be someone who digests those foods better, you know. But so yeah, if we find out what works best for us, nutrition is not so much about your body type or your weight or your dosha, even your Ayurvedic dosha, even though those ones are pretty specific and really designed to help you find your path. I believe what we digest the best and what we might need to feel good, to keep healthy, to nourish our body perfectly, to have our nails growing, our hair growing, our body in good health, might depend on your Akashic records and what your body has been ingesting before the most. So you might want to try that out, you know, see for yourself what works for you. Do not get confused by what the other people say, because this world is way too much about labels or trends or, you know, movements. Now we should move, you know, now we should follow this organic, this. Yes, I agree. We should move an organic movement. We should follow an organic movement. Oh my God. But let your body decide what you digest the best and where you feel the best after eating it. So for me, it is definitely seasonal, organic, locally grown veggies and fruits, and sometimes meat. I try to also eat local meat, and fish, of course. You know, sometimes I do eat fish because I believe that, well, it's not that I believe it. I can just feel that I feel good afterwards. I feel nourished. My body feels in good shape. I feel energized. I feel, you know, just vibrantly enjoying life. Whereas when I eat sugar, for example, I often find myself depressed, or I feel heavy afterwards, or, you know, and sugar has not part of many of Earth's diets. You know, whether you have been in Lemuria, you have been a native in one of the tribes over the world, or a druid, or a Tibetan monk, you know, it doesn't really matter. But just look what works for you and then just go with it. And forget about the labels, forget about the linearity of this world and what you should do and what you should not do. As I said, I was following a friend of mine who was like, but if you eat meat, you're killing the animals. And you can't even eat eggs because eggs are, there's the embryo. How can you eat eggs? So she was very sensitive and beautiful, but also very judgmental towards those who felt like they needed meat. And I agree with you that we don't need meat, you know, 3 times a day or even once a day. I think, you know, meat is something that we shall consume in very conscious amounts. But let your body guide you. Disconnect from what you believe you have been told about carbs, about proteins, about, everything, and just see what works for you. And then let your body decide. See where you feel the best. See where you feel most vibrant. See where your body heals faster from anything you might have. This might be the food that you might need. And as I said before, it doesn't depend what you have been before in your past incarnations. Sugar has not been part of our diet for a long time. Sugar is actually a new age thing. And especially refined white sugar is poison. So if you have been feeling depressed, if your body is super acid because you have been eating a lot of sugar, think about that twice again the next time and let your body decide what feels best to you. So this is what I wanted to share with you. I hope it helps you. Let me know in the comments below what you take away from today. I'm looking forward to connect with you in the next video. Thank you for being here with me today. If you liked this video, please subscribe, share, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for today.